Today we will talk about how to write like J. Cole. Jermaine Lamar Cole, born January 28, 1985, known professionally as J. Cole, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, and record producer. Cole is regarded as one of the most influential rappers of his generation. Born on a military base in Germany and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Cole initially gained recognition as a rapper, following the release of his debut mixtape, The Come Up, in early 2007. Intent on further pursuing a musical career, he went on to release two additional mixtapes, The Warm Up, 2009, and Friday Night Lights, 2010, both to critical acclaim, after signing to Jay-Z's Roc Nation imprint in 2009. Here are the steps to write like J. Cole. Starting with a title will help you stay focused on a single idea in your song. Create a phrase of 1 to 6 words that sums up the heart of what you want to say. Or look for an interesting phrase that suggests a situation or emotion to you. Try using an image in your title to give it more interest, or an action word to give it energy. This may seem like a no-brainer, but even seasoned songwriters can struggle with it. One of the biggest questions beginner songwriters ask is how to start, or where to start. The biggest secret to songwriting is just to start. Should you begin with the lyrics or the melody? Is better to find a good instrumental hook or chord progression instead? The simple answer to these questions is that there is no answer. Everybody writes music in different ways, and it's up to you to figure out what works best. Try several different approaches to songwriting, and you'll soon discover a preference. The biggest part of it all is just sitting down to start writing, or nothing will ever happen. Point 2. Make a list of questions suggested by the title. Start by asking yourself what you want to say about your title, and what you think your listeners might want to know. Make list of questions. Your list might include, what does the title mean? How do you feel about it? What happened to cause this? What do you think, or hope will happen next? You'll need 3 to 4 questions. The best lesson you can get in songwriting is through listening to other songwriters and trying to understand how they convey their works. This seems like an easy step, but it's not as simple as putting on background music while doing other work. Try to attentively listen to the songs and make mental notes as you do. Figure out what works, what doesn't, and what you want to try in your own writing. You'll soon discover new chord progressions, lyric forms, and styles you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. 3. Choose a song structure. Many of today's biggest hits rely on a song structure like this: verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Some add a short section called a pre-chorus or lift between the verse and chorus to build anticipation. The verse, pre-chorus, and chorus each have an identifiable melody, one that the listener can recognize when it comes around. As with any other learned skill, learning how to write a song takes a lot of practice. The best way to do this is to commit yourself to sitting down and writing a song every day. Once again, what you write doesn't have to be anything too fantastic. It could just be a silly tune about what you ate for lunch. The important thing is that you force yourself to write on a regular basis. Some songs won't amount to much, but periodically you'll sit down and write something amazing. You'll soon discover that the more you spend time on it, the better your songwriting will become. 4. Choose one question to answer in the chorus and one for each verse. We'll focus on the chorus first since it's the most important part of your song. Select the question you want to answer in your chorus. Write down a short phrase that expresses your answer. Look for images and action words to bring your answers to life. What is the singer feeling, thinking, or saying? What emotion is the singer feeling, and how would you describe it? Is it warm or cold? Dark or light? One of the most difficult aspects of learning how to write a song is finding the inspiration. Thankfully, inspiration is everywhere if you open yourself up to it. So, carry around a small notebook with you, and write down every little thing that incites creativity. This doesn't have to always be song lyrics or melodies either. It could be a phrase someone said, a reflection on your day, or a sketch of something that looked inspiring. Writing things down will force the creative side of your brain to work overtime and find song ideas in everything you do. 5. Find the melody in your lyric. Choose one or two of the phrases you came up with in step 4. Say them out loud. Now say them again with lots of emotion. Exaggerate the emotion in the lines. Notice the natural rhythm and melody of your speech when you say the lines with lots of feeling. This is the beginning of your chorus melody. Play with it until it feels comfortable. If you're new to playing an instrument, your musical toolbox may be relatively small. Because of this, it's easy to get into the habit of using the same few chords for every song that you write. This isn't necessarily a bad thing for the listener, but it can start to make things dull for the songwriter. After some time, you may wonder why you don't feel inspired in the same way as when you first began writing. This could be because what you're playing doesn't give you the same creative surge after hearing it over and over. Learning some new chords or chord progressions is a quick way to challenge yourself as a songwriter and get your creative juices flowing again. 6. Begin to add chords to your chorus melody. Try a simple, repeated chord pattern. You'll find several chord progressions you can use here. Scroll down to the section on chord progressions. Play with the melody and chords until you find something you like. Record yourself singing and playing, or just singing, even if it's only on your smartphone. Be sure you get it down so you don't forget it. The Voice Memos app on your phone is one of the most useful tools to the songwriter. I've made the mistake too many times of having an idea and not recording it, then forgetting it shortly after. Sometimes this can happen in a matter of minutes of having an idea for a melody or chord progression. Learn from my mistakes and always record your song ideas as soon as you have them. Leaving a recorder running while you come up with ideas is also a great way to write a song. It lets you focus on your spur of the stream of consciousness, and not on writing down or perfecting things. After working this way for a while, you can go back through your ideas and flesh them out further. Point 7. Work on the lyric in your first verse. Focus on the question you chose in step 4. Make your first line something that will get listeners interested. An intriguing statement, a question, or a description of the situation. In your second line, consider restating the first line in a different way or adding more information. Don't move on too quickly. Your listeners need time to understand what's happening in this song. In verse 1, be sure to give listeners enough information so they can understand the chorus when you get there. Go through steps 5 and 6 with your verse melody and chords. A rhyming dictionary is key to keeping form and structure when you're learning about songwriting. One of the things that makes popular music so memorable are rhymes from one line to the next. This makes it catchy for a first-time listener, and it will stick with them for much longer. Thinking in terms of rhyming schemes can be especially difficult to the amateur songwriter. You'll probably discover rhymes in words you didn't even know existed. Not only that, but the more you use a rhyming dictionary, the less you'll need it as your brain becomes accustomed to thinking in this manner. 8. Connect your verse and chorus. After you have a verse and chorus, create a transition between them so that they flow naturally. You may need to raise or lower your verse melody or change the last line to get to your chorus smoothly. Tip: chorus melodies are usually in a higher note range than verses because they're more emotional, and when we get emotional, our voices tend to rise. Many people may think of using a rhyming dictionary when first learning how to write a song. However, not everyone realizes the importance of a thesaurus. Oftentimes you can come up to a brick wall with a phrase you want to say that doesn't fit your form. Instead of trying to force lyrics that fit awkwardly, try to find alternatives for what you're trying to say. A quick Google search of synonyms for will quickly show you a bunch of options you could use. You may even discover a brand new direction to take your song that you would have never have thought of otherwise. 9. Build your second verse and bridge. Choose another of your questions to answer in your second verse. Use step 7 to work through the lyric. Your second chorus will have the same melody and lyric as your first chorus, so you are now almost finished with your song. You just need to add a bridge. The bridge section adds a peak emotional moment to your song, a realization, or an aha moment. Try 2 or 3 lyric lines that give the listener the best insight you can into the situation or emotion the singer is feeling. The melody should be different from both verse and chorus. Try using a chord you haven't used before, or changing the phrase lengths or motion of the melody. A bridge isn't a requirement, but it can add a lot of strength to your song. Many of history's greatest songs were written by more than one person, and there's a good reason for that. Collaboration is a great way to come up with ideas you normally wouldn't have, and it will help a song reach its full potential. Finding one or two friends you can bounce ideas around with can be a great learning experience. You'll discover new tricks and techniques, and will create new music in a fraction of time it takes to do it alone. 10. Record your song. A simple piano vocal or guitar vocal can often be the most effective emotional statement of your song. If you wrote a rock song, do an unplugged version. You don't need lots of strings or drums, in fact, these can detract. Practice both the instrumental and vocal parts until you are comfortable with them. The less you have to focus on when playing or singing, the more you can let go and feel the emotion in this song. Try singing it as if you are speaking it to someone. Record for short periods, then take a break. Keep the song and the emotion fresh. A major problem all songwriters struggle with is actually taking a song from the idea to a finished product. Coming up with an idea for a verse or melody is easy, but making it a finished composition takes hard work. The more ideas that you have and leave unfinished, the more you're teaching your brain how to write parts of songs, but not the whole thing. Instead, try to come up with the entire shell of a song as soon as you have the concept.